and welcome to my Premier League predictions for the 2025-26 season.
Now, before we kick off today's video, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And do not forget to turn on that notification bell so you'll be notified every time I make a new video. Enjoy the video.
As ever, Premier League predictions are just a bit of fun, but obviously I'll be hoping to get as many right as possible going into what could be a very, very exciting Premier League season with lots of squad strengthening over the summer transfer window so far, with many deals yet to be completed and many surprises, I'm sure, in stock. So yeah, a big season to look forward to, so let's get into these predictions. Right, so we will start things off in 20th place with Sunderland. Now I think Sunderland could be in for a bit of an interesting season. I think they got a lot to give to the Premier League. I really like Reggie Lebreeze as a manager. Obviously, they took a bit of a punt on him the other season, and it's paid off pretty well. Obviously, so far. So yeah, for Sunderland, I think that's they've got a good manager there. Where hopefully they'll be hoping to progress to to a good level. So yeah, I'm quite excited to see really what they can do this season. Obviously they've had an interesting summer, bought a lot of players. Obviously you got the likes of Granit Xhaka, who they brought in, who I think is going to be a really exciting signing for them. He knows the Premier League like the back of his hand, obviously, for when he played for Arsenal. He was also captain there for a bit. And yeah, I just think it's a really smart piece of business getting him in, to be honest with you. Let's just hope he does a little bit better than his interview after he signed from Sunderland. If you have seen the clip where he was asked a couple of questions, which I don't think he quite knew the answer to. But yeah, so no, fair enough. I think that's a good piece of business. They obviously brought Simon Adringa in from Brighton, which I think is a really smart piece of business. Habib Diarra as well as an exciting signing from Strasbourg. And yeah, I'm liking the look of some of the signings they've done. Arthur Masuak as well knows the Premier League, which I think is important. Buying in experience and a bit of youth as well, which I think they've already got quite a bit of, is really, really smart. Mark Guiu as well from Chelsea. Sorry if I messed up the pronunciation there. Yeah, and I like him coming in on a loan as well. So really, I think Sunderland are stacking up pretty nicely next season. To be honest with you, obviously they've lost a couple of people as well. In their squad from the Championship last season. Tommy Watson going off to Brighton. I think they could miss him a little bit. Obviously, he was the one that scored the definitive goal, which got them to the Premier League. But it was already a pre-agreed deal before he scored that goal. So obviously he was moving on. And then obviously Joe Bellingham as well moving on. That'll be a miss for them. But yeah, they've replaced well. But I just think it's going to be a highly competitive Premier League, as it always is next season. And it's always hard for Championship clubs going up to the Premier League. And I do think Sunderland are going to come unfortunate at the end. But if they can go into the Championship with another solid squad, who's to say they won't be able to bounce straight back? And if they can do that a couple of times, then who knows, might be able to kind of stay in there. But they could prove me wrong this season and stay there first time around. So yeah, we'll see. But good luck to Sunderland. In 19th place, I have gone for Leeds. Now I'm happy that they've given Daniel Farke another go in the Premier League. I know obviously when he's previously managed Norwich in the Premier League, he hasn't had a brilliant record there. But I think he got Leeds playing a really nice style of football last season in the Championship, because obviously I was watching them quite a lot as a big Championship fan. And yeah, I was liking some of the stuff I saw from Leeds. Do I think this style's going to work in the Premier League? Not necessarily. So I think he's going to have to adapt quite a bit if they want to stay up. I think a lot of people have got them favourites probably out of all the 3 promoted clubs to stay up. But for me, I just don't see it personally. They've obviously spent quite a bit of money in the transfer window so far. They've brought in some decent experienced players almost coming towards their prime. Like Anton Stach from Hoffenheim, which I think's a cool piece of business. Xhaka Bichol as well from Udinese. So yeah, they've kind of improved on their like defensive side of stuff. I guess Lucas Perry as well, the goalkeeper, which obviously they were in desperate need of. And I'm liking it. I think they made a few good pieces of business, but I do think they're going to need to make a bit more business if they want to stay up. So yeah, an interesting season ahead for Leeds, but I don't think they'll have enough, and I think they will go down in 19th place. In 18th place, I have gone for a bit of a gamble, and I have gone for Wolves to get relegated this season and kind of break this curse of the three Championship clubs that got promoted going straight back down. Obviously this summer they've lost some really key players. Well, the likes of Cunha and Aït-Nouri. And I just think that's their kind of like two big players. And now they've gone, I just feel they're going to struggle so much. Obviously they brought in a few people like Jorn Strand Larsen, Lopez Arias, Mola Wolf. But I don't think that's going to be enough for them. I just think this season they might fall a little bit short. And yeah, I don't like to bet against them because with with kind of this thing that keeps happening with all three championship clubs going straight back down once they've been promoted. I just think Wolves this season might break that and go down. I just don't think their squad looks strong enough for next season with the players they've lost. So if they manage to make a few more transfers, my opinion might change, but for now I'm going to go with Wolves. In 17th place, and finally, hopefully, for a newly championship club to stay up, I have gone for Burnley. So this summer for Burnley, they've lost a couple of key players, to be fair. James Trafford, who's gone back to Man City. That's a key part of their defensive success last season, who's obviously gone, but they banked a decent amount of money for him, which I think is positive. CJ Egan Riley as well going, another key defensive part gone. And then Josh Brownhill as well. I think that's a bit of a pain for them, losing their main man in the midfield. So they have lost a couple of key players, but I just really like their incomings they got this summer. Obviously, they've literally been buying off Chelsea. They bought three players: Ugochukwu, Armando Broja, and Bashir Humphreys. And I like all three of those signings, especially Broja, who I think might be able to add some goals to that Burnley side, which could be the difference in whether they stay up or not. Obviously, they had a couple of options to buy players such as Marcus Edwards, Jaden Anthony, Zian Fleming. So they've obviously all been triggered, and all of them are now permanent Burnley players. Axel Twanzebe, that's a good piece of business from Ipswich. I really like that. Kyle Walker, brilliant signing, adds Premier League experience, which is just what you need to stay up. And yeah, I'm loving that. I think Martin Dubravka as well, another solid, experienced Premier League goalkeeper. And I like this balance they've got now of players of all different ages, some younger players, some older players. I think they've got a really good blend, and I think they're going to finally be able to break this Championship to Premier League curse and stay up. I think they're also better equipped than they were when they went up with Vincent Kompany a couple of seasons ago. Scott Parker's not really done it so far in the Premier League, but I do think he's going to be able to do slightly different here and keep Burnley up. But who knows, this might backfire completely. They might finish bottom of the Premier League and I might look really stupid. But I wanted to go a little bit different with my predictions as well as some other people I'm sure will have gone for all three newly championship, promoted championship clubs to go straight back down. So I'm going to go for Burnley to be the hope for championship clubs coming up. So yeah, I think Burnley would just stay up. Next up and in 16th place, I've gone for Brentford. Now, it's been a bit of an annoying summer, really, for Brentford because they've lost some really key figures who've kind of helped stabilise them as a solid Premier League club. Obviously, Thomas Frank, notably as their manager going, is, a really big blow, going to a Premier League rival as well. Brian and Mbeumo going to Manchester United. Obviously, they banked a lot of money for that deal. But, still a really, really key figure and a goal scorer who they've lost. Christian Norgard going to Arsenal, another big player, Mark Flecken. And just all these players really going. I think it could be really, really negative. But, they've made some solid signings so far. Anthony Malambo, which I think is exciting from the Eredivisie. Michael Chiude as well from Fiorentina. I also like Jordan Henderson actually as well as a signing. Obviously, since he's moved from Liverpool, things haven't worked out brilliantly for him. But he's managed to get back in the England squad as well. Well, at least in the last squad before the summer. Um, so yeah, so I think he brings a lot of experience to the Brentford team, which could be quite important, especially as I think they will be fighting relegation. Well, not yeah, I think they will be near the relegation zone, and obviously they're the team two above from it. But I don't think they're going to be overly troubled. I don't think this position is that telling because I think there could be quite a gap between them and Wolves. But the big signing for me, well, one of the big signings anyway, is Kane and Kelleher coming in from Liverpool. Somebody who I think's earned their chance now as a Premier League #1, obviously being so reliable for Liverpool as their backup. So I'm excited to see what he can bring to Brentford as well. So this is a big moment for him now. And yeah, I think Brentford have got enough in them to manage to push to safety. But I do think it is going to be a tough season, especially losing Thomas Frank. I just think that could be really negative. Obviously, Keith Andrews, their set piece coach. I don't know what to expect from him, to be honest with you. Brentford really like to promote within. So this could either go really well or really wrong. But yeah, I'm gonna back them to stay up, but not by a long stretch in terms of positions. In 15th place, I have gone for West Ham. So yeah, West Ham, they've lost the main player they've lost this summer was obviously Kudus going to Tottenham, but they banked quite a bit of money for him. So they've obviously been able to spend a bit in return around the squad. Obviously Tobido coming in permanently from OG Nice as well, which I think's exciting. That's a good deal for to bolster their centre back department. Mads Hermansen coming in as well from Leicester, a really really good keeper. Kyle Walker-Peters and Callum Wilson both coming in on a free transfer as well, I think is really, really, really good. And then El Hadji Malik Diouf as well, from Slavia Prague. They've done previously well, kind of, going from the Czech league, so he could turn out to be quite a cool signing. So yeah, they brought in a few players, but I don't think they're going to be at trouble by relegation necessarily, but I don't think they're going to really be able to trouble the top 10 or anything. I'm just not that sure about them. Graham Potter, I'm still not 100% sure on either, whether he's the right man for West Ham. But yeah, could be an interesting season for West Ham. Obviously, as a Bristol City fan, I was excited to see George Earthy last season, who did really well for us. And I've heard that West Ham will be keeping him around next season. So I hope he gets a chance to impress because he could do really, really well for West Ham. And if he does get his chance, then I hope he takes it because he could go really far one day. Because they say never to fall in love with a lone player, but I truly did with George Earthy. He was just genuinely like fantastic, scored some big goals for us. So if he can, if he can deliver these moments for West Ham, which I'm really hoping he will, then yeah, West Ham have got an absolute star boy on their hands there. Right, and in 14th place, I'm going for Fulham. I feel like it's been a bit of a quiet window for Fulham, to be honest with you. I don't feel a lot's gone on for them that much. Obviously, Carlos Vinicius has gone to Brazil on a free transfer over the summer. But then they've not really had anyone arrive apart from Benjamin Lecomte coming in from France, the second French division. And yeah, Fulham just haven't really been doing much this summer, which, and in fairness, their squad's relatively strong. I think they've got some good players, but they've not done a lot of business over the summer. So I do think they need to probably start making some transfers if they want to push up the league table a little bit. But I do think their squad's strong enough to stay up, hence the reason I've got them in like a solid 14th place. So yeah, it could be one to watch this season, Fulham. But yeah, I just can't. I don't feel like I can put them any higher because I've not seen enough from them in the transfer window yet. And I know the transfer window is not the be all and end all for every club, but I think, yeah, I think Fulham could have done with a couple more transfers at least what they've done so far. So yeah, I'm going to put them 14th for now. And then if they make some more transfers, they could go up a little bit. In 13th place, I have gone for Bournemouth. Now a lot of players have left Bournemouth over the summer. To be honest, this season, Dean Hutchison has obviously gone to Real Madrid, which will obviously be a big miss for them because obviously last season he was absolutely sensational in that Bournemouth defence, as was the likes of Milos Kerkez, who's gone to Liverpool. So yeah, I don't think losing them is particularly good. Obviously, Kepa's left as well. And he's obviously now at Arsenal. So yeah, Bournemouth have lost some key kind of people from their defence last season, which might not put their defence in brilliant stead. But then at the same time, they brought in George Petrovic from Chelsea, which I think is a solid signing. I think he's a solid Premier League keeper, so I don't think they've done a lot wrong with that signing. Obviously, Adrian Truffert as well, who's coming in to replace Kerkez, presumably. Um, so yeah, that's another solid piece of business. But yeah, I'm not really. They've not done a huge amount of business, a bit like Fulham. But I think they've got enough to just finish above Fulham. I think they've obviously still got some really cool players like Semenyo. I know I'm mentioning Bristol City players here, but yeah, Bournemouth have taken a lot of players off City over the years. And yeah, I always want the City lads especially to do well. Hopefully Alex Scott can kick on, talking of former City players. But yeah, I think Bournemouth could have a cool season this year. Um, I don't doubt they'll score goals. I think Iriola's a good Premier League manager. Obviously, he's still learning. Still makes some mistakes every now and again, but he's definitely improving as a manager. He's had his moments so far. I think Bournemouth, they're just becoming a stable Premier League club now. And yeah, hopefully for them, they can keep pushing up the table. 12th place, I've gone for Everton. Obviously, it's a new chapter now in Everton's club history, moving into their new stadium, which I'm sure Everton fans are really excited about. And yeah, they've bought a few players so far this window. Yet again, like a couple of other sides we recently spoken about, not too much business, but they've signed a few players, and probably more so than the other two previous clubs we've spoken about. Mark Travers obviously comes in as a backup goalkeeper from Bournemouth, which I think is a solid option behind the highly reliable Jordan Pickford, who I have no doubts will still be very good for Everton this season. The only potential issue I think Everton have got is if Jordan Pickford was to get injured, because I'm not sure whether Travers is adequate enough as a backup keeper. I think Travers is all right though, so I think he'll do right now as a backup. Adam Zunu as well, coming in from Bayern Munich. That's got the potential to be a really, really exciting signing. Carlos Alcaraz coming in as well from Flamengo is quite cool. Kiernan Dewsbury Hall, who I really like from Chelsea. I think that's a cool piece of business. That somebody who will add quite a bit probably to the Everton midfield. Keanu Barry coming in from Villarreal as well is really, really cool. So I'm liking some of these Everton signings really. I just don't think they'll be able to get ahead of the teams I have put above them. So for now, I will put Everton 12th place. But if they make any kind of big signings anymore, then who knows? I might move them up a little bit. When I do my predictions once the season's began, in terms of like a few months in, maybe about January time, once we've had another window, I'll do an updated set of predictions. When I review these predictions at the end of the season, I will be looking at these ones because these are the ones that will probably be the most funny, as is the case with pretty much every content creator making a couple of howlers. And who knows, I could be failing Everton here, and they might do a bit better than I've got them to do. But for now, I've got them 12th place. In 11th place, I've gone for Crystal Palace. Now I'm filming this on Sunday evening, so this is obviously just after they won the Community Shield in dramatic style as well, winning on a penalty shootout. So well done to Crystal Palace. Couple of trophies for them this year, which I think's a a really big moment for the club to kind of finally get some trophies in their cabinet. Obviously, Oliver Glasner, I really highly rate as a manager, so I think they've got someone really good there. I can understand though him being a little bit frustrated with the lack of business so far for Crystal Palace because they've only really brought in a couple of people such as Walter Benitez from PSV, and that was on a free, and then Borno Sosa as well from Ajax. So it's been a very, very quiet window for Palace, but I think the foundations Glasner has laid will put them in good enough stead to kind of finish a solid 11th place. They've not really lost anyone notable apart from, well, obviously like the likes of Joel Ward, who obviously was leaving the club anyway. Um, so yeah, they go into the season with a similar squad. They've obviously got these kind of like flair players, as in Eze, the players that kind of get you on the edge of your seat. And if he can continue to kind of like, if he has a good season, then Palace will probably have a good season as well, just because I think he's such a key cog in that Palace team. So yeah, I'm interested what Palace can do this year, but I think they will finish 11th place. In 10th place, I have gone for Nottingham Forest. Now I think Forest are going to struggle a little bit because obviously they're playing in Europa League as of now anyway this season because obviously they got it off Crystal Palace due to the multi-club ownership, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, right now they're playing in Europa League. I doubt that'll be overturned. I know Palace are protesting about it, but I don't think it'll get overturned. So we'll go by the fact that they're playing in the Europa League next season. And I do think that might have a little effect on them in the league. I think they're going to drop off compared to where they were last season, which was like at a really surprising level because I don't think anyone went into the season thinking Forest were going to be able to like produce what they did. So, credit to them. They proved a lot of people wrong, myself included. So I think they are going to drop off slightly this season. Who knows? They could absolutely prove me wrong once again, but I am a little bit concerned for them ahead of the season. Anthony Alanga going is a real miss, I think. To Newcastle going to a Premier League fellow rival, someone who they were fighting with last season. They were kind of in that region of the table, so I think that could be a big miss. Danilo, Souza as well going. But then, they brought in a couple of interesting transfers, Ndoye, Jesus, Cunha, all of them coming in. I think are some, exciting youngish signings as well. Angus Gunn coming in to kind of be the goalkeeper, backup keeper. So yeah, they made a few interesting signings. So I think Forest will be able to have a top 10 finish, but I don't think they're gonna have as good of a season last season. I think they're going to want to obviously do well as well in Europe as they can as well. So yeah, we'll see with Forest. In ninth place, I have gone for Tottenham. So Tottenham this season are a very, very weird team to predict, I feel, like Manchester United. Um yeah, like obviously last season was very poor for them in terms of league position. As they were literally, well, in terms of position in the league table, they were very close to going down. Obviously, in terms of the actual points they got, they weren't that close because the three relegated clubs were significantly worse than everyone else in the league. But they were, it was concerning how bad they were in the league last season. But obviously, towards the end of the season, it was full focus on winning the Europa League, which they obviously managed to do when they beat Manchester United. Um, so yeah, this season's got to definitely be better in the league. They'll obviously be playing Champions League football, even though it feels like with how they played last season, they don't really deserve it based on that. But they won the Europa League, so that's fair enough. Than getting it from that. Um, and yeah, they've lost obviously Son this season, who's gone off to the MLS, and I have to admit, I think that could be a really well, that they could really miss him. Obviously, I think it was his decision to leave, so it's yes, it's not like they could really do anything about it. But I do think he could be a bit of a miss, not just as a player on the pitch, but also in the dressing room as well as their captain. But then at the same time, it excites me with the signings they've made. João Paulinho coming in from Bayern Munich, well, on the loan, I think for now anyway. Obviously played in the Premier League before with Fulham, so that's a solid signing. Matthias Tell coming in permanently from Bayern Munich as well is quite cool. Danzo, Vucevic, Takai. So yeah, all of them solid signings. And then the big one, I guess, was Mohamed Kudus as well, coming in from West Ham, who had a really good season last year. So yeah, let's see with Tottenham. But I think for now, just because of the fact that they'll be playing Champions League football as well, I'm going to go for them to, well, improve on last season's finish and improve significantly. But yeah, still not in that kind of top six conversation just yet for me. In eighth place, I have gone for Aston Villa. Yeah, Villa, they've had a bit of a quiet transfer window, to be honest. I think their squad going into the window was, pretty good already. Um, so I didn't think they needed to do too much business, and yeah, as I said, they haven't really done anything. I mean, Guessend, Ozcan, they're the main real players that have come in. Bizot as well, who's coming as a goalkeeping option, but obviously presumably as a backup. So yeah, I wouldn't say Villa have been, that active in the transfer market, but I think their squad was already good, so they didn't need to do too much. They don't want to obviously bloat the squad or anything. So yeah, I'm interested to see if Villa can, kind of build upon anything they managed to do in other seasons. I think they've got a good keeper in Emi Martinez. If they manage to keep hold of Ollie Watkins as well, that could be really positive. I saw Morgan Rogers got stretched off, I think, the other day in a pre-season friendly game, which isn't a very positive sign for them at all. So hopefully for their benefit, he will be all right. But yeah, I think Villa are ones to watch this season, but I have got them to finish eighth place. In seventh place, I have gone for Brighton. Now, some people may think I'm being a bit too optimistic for Brighton this season, but I really like their manager, Fabian Herzler. I think he's done a really good job so far in Brighton in his short spell here. Um, Obviously Brighton they've lost a few key players so far, during the window. The likes of João Pedro going to Chelsea, who's already done well in pre-season for them. Simon Adringa as well going to Sunderland. They made a bit of money there. Estupinian as well going to AC Milan. So they've lost a couple of key players there, um, but I do think they're going to be all right losing them. Long as they kind of replace them well. And they've spent a little bit of money so far this window. Obviously, Koustalas coming in from Greece, which could turn out to be quite an exciting signing because he's only 18. So obviously, yeah, Brighton like buying in young players from foreign leagues, and who knows, in a couple of years he might be off to Chelsea for an extortionate fee. We never know. Maxim de Cooper as well coming in from Belgium, really exciting. Tommy Watson, who we spoke about, coming in from Sunderland as well. Will he be able to hit the Premier League running? Do Young Yoon coming in from South Korea. So yeah, I'm liking some of this business really. Coppola as well coming in from Hellas Verona. So I think they made some solid additions there, and I think they will be able to finish a solid seventh place next season. In sixth place, I have gone for Newcastle. Now, it's been a frustrating summer for Newcastle, really, because it feels like a load of players have rejected them to go elsewhere. Like obviously you've had like Brian and Buemo going off to Man United, Seshko going to Man United, a couple of players there to name but a few, who have moved on. So they've gone elsewhere, which I don't think was brilliant because that's meant then they've had to go to like plan A, plan B, plan C's, which I don't think is ideal at all for them. So in the end, they've not really brought in that many players so far. I like the signing of Alanga from Nottingham Forest. Obviously, that was quite an expensive deal to pull off in the end, but I think he adds another good like dynamic option to their like winger options. Aaron Ramsdale coming in from Southampton as well. Another goalkeeper to add to their ranks. Who's obviously proven himself as a solid Premier League goalkeeper. Cordero coming in from La Liga 2 as well, as a free transfer. So yeah, so they made it only a couple of signings so far, but I still think they'll be good enough for top six because I still think their squad is very, very strong. Obviously, the big debacle really over their summer so far is what's happening with Isak. Obviously they don't really want to sell him, but Isak is being tempted with options elsewhere. So, if he keeps being like kind of frozen out of the squad, then well, I don't think that'll be very positive news for Newcastle and, well, for the player himself, really, because the whole situation just needs to be resolved as soon as possible. So yeah, I'm hoping that kind of saga will kind of come to an end soon. But yeah, so I think there's unfinished business from Newcastle this season. I think in the summer window and January they will buy people. So yeah, so we'll see with Newcastle. But for now, I'm gonna put them sixth place. In fifth place, I've gone for Man United. Um, so yeah, Man United have made some expensive signings so far. Obviously, they've not bought a ton of players in, but they've made some expensive signings so far, such as Cunha coming in from Wolves and Buemo coming in from Brentford. Two Premier League proven players there who are at a good age as well. And obviously goal threats as well. So I like those signings as well. Could add a few more goals in their side. Benjamin Sesko as well coming in from RB Leipzig, another goal scorer. So they've definitely made some attacking additions, which I think was kind of their big problem last season. And I heard Donnarumma wants to join Man United as well. There's a couple of links with him right now. Um, and then Baleba as well from Brighton. And you know what? If United can pull off a couple of those two signings, they look really, really good ahead of next season. I think Amorim's a good manager as well. And yeah, I'm liking the look of Man United this season. Obviously, last season was very poor for Man United by their standards they've set over the years. And obviously it hurts as well losing the Europa League final. But I do think things could be starting to look up a little bit more at Man United now. So I am going to put them fifth place, and for them to be able to get back into Europe this season. In fourth place, I have gone for Chelsea. Now Chelsea have had a really, really kind of fun summer, haven't they? They've obviously won the Club World Cup, which was a big achievement for them. So I'm interested if they can kind of push on from that, really, to be honest with you. They've had a few departures leave this summer, and kind of all the departures have made quite a bit of money combined, to be honest with you. You got the likes of obviously all the players Burnley bought, so they banked 50 odd million alone for them. And they've made quite a bit of money so far this window. Noni Madueke as well, João Felix, Petrovic. Yeah, the list goes on. Kepa. So yeah, they've definitely sold a few players this year. But then they have brought in some really exciting players. Like Payers coming in, who's only 18 as well. Mamadou Sarr coming in from Strasbourg. Estavo coming in from Brazil, Liam Delap, Joel Hato, Jamie Gittens, João Pedro. These young players, I think, are gonna fit really nicely into the Chelsea squad. Obviously, the squad's still quite bloated, but I think they've got a good manager in Enzo Maresca. And I think that'll be good for a Champions League finish this season in the Premier League. I think their squad's good enough for the top four. But I do think the top three teams are a little bit ahead right now of Chelsea. But obviously when you've got players like Cole Palmer, I think there's quite a lot possible for this team. It's still very young as well. Um, and it wouldn't surprise me if Chelsea are fighting for Premier Leagues in the near like kind of years coming up now. So I think there's a lot to be excited for if you're a Chelsea fan. So yeah, I'm interested what they can do this season. Will they be able to push on from the Club World Cup success? Third place, I've gone for Man City. Now, I don't like not putting Man City in the top two because, well, I just feel like most seasons it just feels like they've got to be in the top two. But obviously last season wasn't very good by their standards at all. When obviously Liverpool and Arsenal ended up finishing above them, which wasn't very good for them. But yeah, they've lost a couple of, well, kind of big big dressing room players. Yeah, most notably Kevin De Bruyne, who's been, literally a mainstay in their midfield when he has been fit as well. Kyle Walker, obviously he's not been in and around the squad as much last season, but that's still a big kind of experienced player leaving. So they've had a couple of people who have gone, which I don't think will kind of help them too much next season. By kind of like losing them. Rangers coming in from AC Milan's an exciting signing at a good age as well. Ryan Aït-Nouri, who we spoke about, which I think could harm Wolves this season. I think he's a really good option as well. And at left back as well, I feel like he'll be straight in that side. Cherky, he just feels like Cherky's been around forever and he's only 21. And I think it's about time he got a Premier League move, really. So will Pep be able to get the best out of him? James Trafford as well. It always felt inevitable will they get him back from Burnley one day. But he's a really good keeper, obviously. So I think Man City they look good for this season, but I don't think they're going to be able to finish in the top two. And just missing out on the Premier League title once again. I have gone for Arsenal. Now it feels like they finished second in absolutely everything, so I'm sorry, Arsenal fans, that I didn't put you down to win the league. But I think the team above them, who I'm sure you can all guess who it's going to be, I think they'll just have a little bit too much for them. Now I don't doubt that Arsenal have had a solid transfer window, really. Like they bought in Kepa, who obviously did really well at Bournemouth last season, knows the Premier League. I think that's a solid signing as a backup. Christian Norgard as well from Brentford, really nice coup. Mosquera coming in from Valencia, 15 million. I think that's a solid pickup. Madueke, obviously, I don't think Arsenal fans were best pleased with that signing, but it's another option, and I think he's a good player. Zubamendi as well from Real Sociedad, another good transfer, good age. And then the big one for Arsenal really was obviously getting Gyökeres in now, a proven goal scorer. Will he be able to do it in the Premier League? Obviously for Arsenal, they'll be absolutely praying he can, because if Arsenal could start scoring some goals, then I think that's literally all they need to win a Premier League now. But with the team above them who have just done an absolutely madness over the summer, I just think Arsenal are going to fall short. If Liverpool hadn't managed to do what they've done over the summer, I would probably go for Arsenal, but I do think they're going to fall short, and I think they're going to fall short just in first place and to win the Premier League for a second consecutive season. I have gone for Liverpool. Now, Arne Slot more than worked his magic last season, obviously winning Liverpool the Prem with all the foundations laid from Jurgen Klopp before him. And to be fair, and you'd look at who Liverpool had going this summer, and you think, it's not been very good from that point of view. Obviously, Trent going, well, that was always going to happen in the end, as Trent wasn't going to be signing a contract. Obviously, Kelleher going to Brentford, he wanted to be a first team keeper, which is fair enough. Kwanzaa going to Leverkusen, and then Nunes and Diaz. So they have lost a few players who were important for them previously. But obviously the business they've done is just absolutely out of this world, really. Obviously, previously they got in Mamad Davashli in from Valencia. And obviously they've got him now fighting with that for that goalkeeping spot with Allison. So they've already got two absolutely outstanding keepers there, which is really exciting for them. And then the four kind of key players they've got in now: Jeremy Frimpong, Milos Kerkez, Hugo Ekitike, and Florian Wirtz. I'm really excited about Wirtz in the Liverpool side. I think he's going to slot in lovely. I think Jeremy Frimpong fighting with Conor Bradley for that right back spot's going to be quite exciting. Milos Kerkez as well, who had a good season at Bournemouth last year, and Ekitike as well as another solid attacking option. So I just can't look past the Liverpool team, to be honest, next season. It would be interesting if Arsenal could come a bit closer next season, but I literally just can't look past it. So I'm going to go for Liverpool to win the Premier League. Anyway, that rounds off today's video. I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Yeah, say to me in the comments below whichever team you support, where you think your team's going to finish. And if you want to, put out your full 1 to 20 predictions as well. And come back and have a look at them at the end of the season, as we all do with our predictions. It's always a bit of fun, these videos. You know, nobody can predict, it feels like, what's going to go on in the Premier League, because it's just so unpredictable. That's what makes it one of the best leagues in the world. So yeah, hope good luck to every Premier League team this season. I'll have my predictions coming out for the Premier League and Championship on Thursday, hopefully. So yeah, I look forward to seeing you then for that video. So apart from that, guys, I'll see you all in the next one.